Hello. Oh my gosh, you guys. Peggy's still stumbling around. She'll be over here in just a second. I legit woke up this morning at 9:35 and my premiere starts at 9:30. So you can imagine the chaos over the last half hour.
Basically, today's
So Peggy has not one damn clue what we're even talking about.
today's topic is taking up space, and
Oh, wait, I gotta go
and
this
this
way.
is the one time that we're not in it.
We're not even here. Oh my god, I'm walking
Ow.
around with my phone. You have no table.
I have
No.
nothing. It's
Okay.
fine because you screwed me
We're
over. It's
drinking
fine.
our
I'm used to it.
first morning coffee.
First coffee of the day. I still
Because-
have. You ever had those little blanket creases? I still have some.
We
Oh my god. Our
We-
dogs wake
I
us up.
slipped in. Okay, so I'm stumbling around the house with my phone so that I can see you guys and see your comments. Oh my god. And we literally just poured our first cup of coffee. So
Oh my god.
we're probably like just good
Oh.
luck. That's all I have to say. Because I went to go put creamer in my coffee and I literally dropped the bottle all over the floor. I'm pretty sure the floor is still sticky. I think I got the most of that.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I know what I'm doing later today.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, yeah, you know what? Like she's got a regular alarm, she's got an alarm on her phone, and we have dogs that like to eat.
And one that needs insulin.
often-
So of course I was running around. He's had a shot. He's good. But
yeah, he's fine. But there's usually a dog standing on somebody's chest going, "Wake up!" by like 9:15.
They were like freaking asleep, the little traitors. My Google Home didn't go off. My phone
Shayla
alarm
still
didn't go
doesn't want
off.
to eat. She's
Or
just
it
like,
did,
"Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
like
my
she's
God.
like they're still waking up.
Oh, we knew it was gonna happen.
So there's gonna be a lot of yawning, a lot of rubbing our eyes. Peggy's probably gonna have to run off to the bathroom the second she's had her last sip of coffee. I was talking to y'all on my phone
She
from
was
the
bathroom
bathroom.
from the toilet. And, but you know what she said to me? Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, she says. And she's so freaking tired
But I
still.
totally just told
The
her
coffee
already.
hasn't soaked in yet. It's like, don't tell anybody because I'm going to do it. No, she never said that part. She thought she was going to keep a
No,
secret.
look, Peggy almost ended the broadcast. You can't. You gotta be
Don't-
careful what buttons you push.
I'm
Oh my
not
god!
even. Still have that puppy sleep face.
I know.
And I heard some of your video, but I usually watch it in the morning.
With me, I know.
with her.
So she has no fucking idea what he
I
said.
have no idea.
Oh,
I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty today. Drink my coffee. How is everybody
hi,
today?
Heather. I managed to get the tech. Oh, I'm impressed you managed to get the tech working. I can do nothing before coffee. This is
Oh
why
my
the
God.
creamer was
That's
on
why
the floor.
creamer, yeah, that's why the creamer's on the floor. I'm standing outside with the dogs.
Thank goodness. All I have to set up for these lives is I have a little webcam that sits on top of my laptop because my laptop webcam is crap, and I just plug it in. And I've already preset
Heidi said
everything
we look
up.
great for just waking up, and I'm just
Thank
thinking
you.
our camera's not that
I
great.
did
It just
run a
hides
brush
the
through my
camera
hair.
hides a lot of stuff.
I ran a brush
I
through my
did
hair,
too.
and I actually put
I
pants
did too.
on.
I had enough time to like take care of it.
Yeah, and I have pants, which feels like success right now. Let me tell you. So hi Heidi, hi Chloe, hi Tara,
Hi everybody.
hi Simon. Simon's like, I've been awake 11 hours.
Elle's mom is watching. Hi, Elle's
He's
mom.
even seen our glide already about the mushy peas
Oh.
because that probably happened overnight. I haven't even. My phone's like right here. I don't even know if people have been trying to
You
get a hold
tried
of me.
Yeah, we have a
Nothing.
couple. We have a couple of apparently authentic. Well, they say they're authentic. We wouldn't know.
You've got coffee all over your shirt. You already spilled it on yourself.
I don't care.
You missed.
It's gone. It's fine.
She's
It's
saving
fine.
it for later.
Now we know why I wear dark colors. Oh, you
I
know what?
did
You know
put
what?
pants
Why?
on.
Because the cup you gave me has a chip here and a chip
Well,
here.
because you chipped it.
I have to hold it
But
sideways
she
and
can't
drink
get
from
rid
the
of
end.
it because it says she's a tud muffin, which is what I used to call her. I used to call her my tud muffin.
Yeah, you can
It says-
barely see it. It took
it's-
a lot of years to look this good.
And then on the back side it says,
Yeah, this is what she gets me.
Geezer, formerly known as Stud Muffin. I think it
Yeah.
was like your 50th birthday.
50th. Was my 50th, but this is a 5-year-old mug, and you still won't buy me a new mug.
I've bought you lots of new mugs. I just don't want
No,
you to
you
get
buy
rid of them.
yourself new mugs and then get upset when I use them.
This is also true. Actually, this is very accurate. I do. She's like, she starts putting her coffee in my witch's brew mug, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I can barely see it. It's got a chip here.
I promise
a
we'll
chip
get to
here.
the subject eventually.
Really? Okay. How is everybody today?
Yeah, how's everybody doing? Okay, so we
Yeah.
got Heather, Raquel. I was starting to greet everybody. Chloe,
I
Lady
see.
Knight of Avalon.
Yeah.
We have Simon. We have Tina.
have-
Stop biting your mug, Peggy. Says Tina.
mistake.
Tina's been awake for 9 hours. I thought you were in the U.S. Why the hell?
Why are you licking my toes? My dog is
Are you
licking.
pulling it all night or what's happening?
I just gotta stop
Happy
playing
belated birthday, Elle's mom.
Oh, Elle's mom had a. Everybody say happy birthday to Elle's mom.
I think that's about all that I missed. Okay.
Sorry that you had to pick this day to bring your mom to watch us be tired and not awake.
Oh God, Time Nexus has a caffeine emergency. She's only got enough left for 1 cup of coffee.
Oh my God. Oh my God! Quick! Call emergency services.
And our dog is
digging a hole. Okay, so take
let me recap you since you missed it all. Space. Let me recap what I said. Oh boy.
No, I'll rewatch that one later.
But then how are you going to contribute? You don't even know what I was
taking up space. Just take up space. Fuck them. There. Take up space.
I legit told Peggy last night, I was like, your entire personality is just jumping in the fucking puddles. Like the rest of us like to think about things first. What were we talking about?
Trying new things.
Excuse me. Yeah. Hi, Barry.
Okay.
Luckily, I work from home. Oh, wait. Oh, she started working at 5 a.m. Oh, wow. That's yucky. She's loving all the online space she's taking up with all her birthday wishes. That's awesome.
Yay.
So I hope that some of that resonated with you, the ways that we shrink ourselves, whether physically or energetically. It's like, it's one of these symptoms of low self-worth or low self-confidence, but it's also something that we may not even notice. And then when we change it, we actually improve our self-confidence and our self-worth.
Well, and it's like you don't have to walk around being the loudest person in the room or stuff like that, except I am anyway.
That actually came up. Actually, you missed it because you weren't in the premiere.
Well, I was listening. I was hearing bits and pieces as you were running around like a psycho.
Chicken. So I think it was Jacqueline. No, it was Bunny Kisses shared that in her family, people have a tendency to speak loudly and over her a lot, and she's got a softer voice to begin with.
Oh, that's hard.
It's hard to take up space. Like Peggy and I, thank God, we're both equally like voice dominant, I guess you could say. We cut each other off all the time. Like we're both very like forward with our voice, but I didn't used to be that way.
Well, and we try to, I mean, I know that I can be loud. I know this about myself, and I don't need to feel ashamed or embarrassed about it for myself. So I have absolutely no problem going, oh geez, I just talked over you. What were you saying?
Exactly.
And I just hope that the other person understands that I'm not accusing them of being too quiet. I'm just aware that I can be loud.
Yes, but what I was getting at with that point though was
what?
It can be hard to project yourself energetically into a space with a lot of dominant voices, which is what I said back to her. I think that it's hard.
It doesn't make it easy.
If you're in an environment full of like people that either appear or are super confident, then it's even harder to feel like you belong or like you can step up or like you can project yourself or take up space. And I use the YouTube example because I hear it all the time in our tarot tube space where people are like, I don't know if you guys, I mean, I'm sure there's already a video about this out there. I've done it. I think everybody's done it.
You haven't had the coffee yet and you're going fast.
Well, I don't talk slow even without coffee. I just talk more stupid. Okay, no, not stupid. Just stumbly. So like I think that in the YouTube sphere we get a lot of that where we hear people say like I just do what I want, and that's what makes YouTube fun for me personally. She wants up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there we go. We have dogs needing cuddles right now. Hi, happily ever after. Let's put up Raquel's comment here. It made so much sense. I've always been that way. I didn't realize how much I hate being seen until this past year or so. So crazy to me, the stuff we don't notice until someone else points it out.
But the funny thing is now for some people, that's the exactly comfortable place for them to be. They don't, like introverted people are less interested in being seen.
Yeah. And I actually mentioned that briefly in the video. I was like, there's definitely some things here about extrovert, introvert, and comfort levels. But
yes, everything has its context.
It takes self-awareness to check in and go, am I just staying where I'm comfortable? Is this just me taking care of myself and being true to myself, or am I shrinking myself?
Yeah.
And if you check in with yourself, you can really notice.
Pardon me. It's always a sliding scale.
Hi, if anybody's just joining, apologies in advance for this entire thing.
Oh my gosh,
we're very caffeinated.
We slept in this morning. We're just having our first coffee now. It's like already a shit show. It's fun. Yeah, all bets are
off. But one of the things that happens is that we think that somebody else, and this comes up when it comes to like things like competing. We think that if somebody else is doing something that we shouldn't do it, or if somebody else has done it in a good way, then we feel like we need to do it as the same or better than them. And it's not that. It's practicing realizing that you are unique. And I know that this sounds like cheesy after school special time, but like you are unique and special and you have your own voice to share. And
just jump in a puddle.
My life got infinitely better. There were two major times in my life when I started taking up more space in different ways. One time was when I recognized I was starting to love my body more, and I recognized that I'd only ever worn neutral colors, so white, black, earth tones. In fact, I used to pride myself on only wearing earth tones and baggy clothes. But I hit a point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to start wearing color, and I'm going to start wearing clothes that fit me. And I'm going to not care what other people think, because there's a lot of like horrible places like online, like people of Walmart. I'm sorry,
you almost burped.
I almost burped.
I saw that.
I did a good job though. See, I hid it until you pointed it out.
Oh, well, anyway. You didn't hide it that well, so I figured it out.
I started wearing color, and I started letting myself be visible. And I think, yeah, like Simon makes a great point. There's a misconception that if you are a content creator, you are an extrovert, and that's just not the case.
You're an introvert.
I am a total.
You are like, she's a totally shy introvert.
I am a classic introvert in the sense that I get depleted from social stuff. I get energized by time alone. I need a certain amount of quiet time in my day. But YouTube actually is to me like an introvert's dream. It lets me be extroverted in the ways that I like to be extroverted, but I can turn this button off anytime I want to. No offense, guys, but like if I'm like I'm done, I can be like end broadcast. Bye. Okay, that'd be a jerky move, but I can do it. It's a different kind of
I love you very much.
And it's obvious
because I got no space.
It's also easier to take up space like in your own home and in your own comfort zone, at least for me, than it is to take up this kind of space elsewhere. I love public speaking, which is something that people don't associate with being an introvert.
See?
But like I'll speak in front of a crowded room of people about a topic I'm really passionate about, but then you get me off stage and you start talking to me and suddenly I'm super shy. I'm like, hi, I said a thing.
She is.
But yeah, so starting to wear color was a big shift.
But you know what? If you're you don't have to force yourself.
I almost drunk your gross coffee.
Ew.
Ew.
But here's the thing: it's like taking up space isn't about forcing yourself to do it because you're uncomfortable. But it's like if you like somebody said about not feeling like you're not allowed to do something because somebody else is better at it. It's like, oh well.
Hold on, you guys.
I've
got to show you Peggy's lap. I promise I'm not being dirty, but like, look at this.
You're gonna.
Oh, I gotta go that way. I can do it. I can do it without spilling.
You have to keep going.
Look at this dog. She's just like in the blanket. Look at this other dog. Oh my god. Look at him. This is our morning. Oh my god.
This is the reason why I can't drink my coffee yet.
Oh no, I have to lift this back up. Okay. So it was really cool to see that the topic was resonating with a bunch of you guys, that you guys had examples in your own life of where maybe you shrink. Just to start like giving up on things because others are better at it. And the funny thing is,
hon, this has gone on. You're scrolled up.
Oopsies, I'm missing all your more recent comments. Oh shit, I missed a bunch. Hold on. Let's see. As an introvert, I love being able to be out there in YouTube land because when I'm filming, I'm alone and I can edit if I want to. Great practice to get more confident with public speaking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because life doesn't come with an edit. Life does not come with an edit button.
Oh, look at Peggy dropping the one-liners before
coffee. My brain kicked in. Oh my god, just a second.
We all have to live our lives how we want to be lived and not upon trends or what people would like to imply.
And that is the heart of what taking up space means. You don't need to take up somebody else's space.
Yes. Earthy Shade Tarot. Sorry, I'm sorry. I got excited.
It's okay. I don't need to talk. It's fine. I'm fine.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
She says, I have a hard time looking people in the eye. Once I took acting classes, it cured that big time. Yep. Hi, Sandra. I didn't see you come in because I let the thing scroll and no idea you guys are talking. I know. I'm getting there.
It's still catch up.
I think I do a lot of power poses naturally, but at the same time, I kind of disappear, rarely speak up, and so on. Yeah, it's interesting to notice where sometimes you're really good at taking up space. As Heather pointed out, sometimes you're really good at taking up space in one kind of area, but really bad at it in another way. Bad at it is a pre-copy way to express it. But like sometimes it's more of a struggle, right? Yeah, totally agree. Love speaking about my passions and my thoughts, but I'm definitely more of an introvert. Yeah, I think, and this is funny because people, I think, see those of us who have channels and they're like, oh, you're so confident and you're so out there. And it's like, no, this is just a really safe way to socialize. Hi.
It's not, well, that's not all there is to it, but yeah, there's a huge element of that.
I know, Tina, I wish you were closer to. I still don't know where you are. I think you told us and you don't have to tell us, but. So dogs are totally persons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's see. You'll be better at some things than others, and others will be better at things than you. It's not the point of doing things. Do what you love to do and try new things.
Well, exactly. And it's like and
a classic from our Barb. Hi Barb, I didn't see you come in.
Oh, hi Barb.
You have to learn to not give a fuck.
Exactly.
Hi Buttercup Coffee.
And like if I want to try to do something, I don't have to be as and this is about I mean, and
do you need more of your neck?
Let me just I need more of my thing. I do the stop and start sentencing when I'm tired. It's like, well, blah, and then, well, blah, well, blah.
Oh, Georgia, that is far. That is so far.
But like this, even taking up space comes on a scale. I mean, if you're in an environment, if you're listening to a public speaker, you don't get to just stand up in the middle and say I disagree, and you don't get to take up that kind of space. There's areas where it's appropriate and expected that you not take over the space. There's other areas where you may not be comfortable wanting to be in the space.
Have fun drinking the thing.
Ella's going to drink a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have fun drinking a thing.
Sandra said something
Don't drink too many things.
Sandra said something I want to address real quick. She said that let me go back to it. For ages, I was worried about showing my face on my channel, and I'm definitely not an extrovert.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually start their channels doing top downs and things like that so that they can get comfortable with the space before they show their face. It's funny because it's another way of,
and like I don't even have a channel. I'm just here. I'm only here with you.
You take up so much space.
You're
so good at it.
Oh my god. My son tells me Hi, Dustin. My son jokes around and says that I'm interwebs famous because sometimes people mention me on a channel and I'm not even there. Like they'll have bought a bag or something, right?
Yeah.
And every time he's like, damn it.
Sandra, I just wanted to say too, Simon just said, and he's completely right. You've come so far from your top-down videos to your face on, and I love the way you named your channel and you embraced a part of you that people were like, hey, Sandra, I can't hear you. And you're like, hey, people, this is how I talk. Deal with it. And I think that's incredible. That's an incredible way to
taking up space.
Why do you have a bruise on your arm? I did not do that.
I know.
Did you get?
I'm blaming you anyway.
Did you get a blood test recently?
No, they don't stick it there. No.
Okay, why do you have a bruise on your arm? Who's been beating you up? I'll beat them up. It's probably you. Then I have to beat you up.
No, I think I had a bite.
And then you've been. Why are you scratching it now? Don't scratch it now.
Because it reminded me that I have.
Well, don't make it worse. Anyways, okay.
Okay.
It is true,
okay,
and I think you're welcome, Sandra. Total squirrel moment there. I think that when it comes to the reason that I relate to this topic so hard is because it's something that I bring up every time I do public speaking. The first thing I do is I remind everybody in the room that they are currently probably shrinking themselves so they don't accidentally like encroach on the person next to them. And you can literally see it when you're looking at a crowd of people.
Oh, yeah.
And you say this to them, you can literally see everybody relax not consecutively. What's the word for all at the same time?
Yeah. Concurrently.
Yeah.
Just everybody relax
at the same time.
We should not. Don't use a big word when we're just.
I know that was.
We're still. This is your first decision. Big words are off limits when we're waking up. True. You know that.
But it's exciting, and of all of the things that I have people talk to me about after I give a talk on self-worth or whatever, the one that comes up the most is about taking up space. That is the thing that seems to resonate the hardest with people because most people. I had somebody come up to me after a talk. And she was an incredibly tall woman and she was crying and she was like, you have no idea. Like, she's like, because she's always felt like she needed to make herself smaller. She's always felt like her body is inconvenient to other people, which is something that I relate to being in a larger physical body. But it went beyond that. And she has a daughter who's moving into her teens and she's like, I need my daughter to take up the space. She's like, she's going to be tall. She's already much taller than everybody her age. She's like, I need her to not feel like she needs to shrink herself. This is the thing that I think we recognize is that.
Yeah. Well, and there's physically taking up space, emotionally taking up space, in terms of like if you're at an event and everybody's trying something new, you can't stay. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm no good at that. That's also a not taking up space thing. It's like, I don't have to be good at it. I'm allowed to try it anyway.
That's why the stand-up paddleboard yoga I was talking about.
That's taking up space.
Yeah, that was me saying, you know what? I know you do not see fat people on stand-up paddleboards, but you also don't see fat yoga teachers. So like, what the hell? So I went up and tried it, right? Like,
Well,
I just decided I had a right to try it just like everybody else. I don't have
and you
to
know
love
what?
it.
Of all the thousands of people that try stand-up boarding, paddleboarding, do it once and don't bother doing it again, you're allowed to be one of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Time
like,
Nexus says, I'm going to put this comment up here. I always used to try to take up as little space as possible. I never wanted to infringe on anyone's personal autonomy or push my own agenda, but somewhere it became unhealthy. Now I'm so much better.
Yeah.
It's a scale, right? It goes from
it is a scale.
taking up too much space to being a doormat. And everything in between is the healthy realm where you learn to take up space, not take up too much space, but not take up too little and shrink yourself, right? Like, there's a balance. Dustin says, I've actually gone back to doing top-down videos because it's 1,000 times easier. Yeah, like I did my Witch's Bounty live because I was like, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit depleted today, and I want to just do this. I don't want to do like a pre-record and then have to edit and all that blah blah blah.
That's but to address Dustin's comment. By the way, good morning, Dustin.
Good morning.
We actually talked about
we were asleep 5 minutes ago
because I've only ever been on a plane once, and one of the reasons why it was so uncomfortable for me, and I'm 5'2", I don't need all that extra leg room, but because there's not enough leg room, basically, if I'm sitting in the same position for too long, my bad knee I will start kicking. It will start spasming.
And then you're kicking the seat.
And then I'm kicking and stuff like that.
That visual though. It's like, I get out of my way.
I know, I mean, I appreciate that he has a very specific. You have a specific problem. I mean, it's funny though. It's funny though
because you have a specific problem because you're so damn tall.
That's you do. But the thing to remember, not the thing to remember, because I'm not trying to. I mean, everybody's experience. Everybody, your mileage may vary. It's one of those things though, is like we're like, well, if we ever want to fly, we're going to have to move into a probably business class or something that has more no business, not next, the next one up that has more leg room,
economy plus or something,
or whatever. We wouldn't be able to do those little bitty cramped up seats,
which makes travel more expensive.
Yeah. So sometimes physical space just comes with restrictions that you can't get around, and that's one
travel
problem.
tip I actually just heard recently. I don't know if this would help with leg room. Just random.
Somebody said to sit in the seat aisle. The emergency exit aisle.
No. Sometimes people say that it's cheaper to buy a second seat so that you have more room than to upgrade your class.
Depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's really, really interesting when it comes to the concept of taking up space, because one of the things that we're taught is Dustin, as a tall guy, well, of course you can't, and you're not allowed to discuss it with anybody.
Okay,
and I'm like, well, you're short, you should fit in the seat, so I'm not allowed to discuss it with anybody. And when you start talking with people, you find out that you can have the same problem, but for different reasons.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it prevents, and the not talking about it prevents positive solution finding.
Yes. Earthy Shy said, here it is. I always feel like I need to look nicer to do videos. You guys don't really care, do you guys?
Oh, we don't give a shit.
Like, legit, this is me straight out of bed. I ran a brush through my hair. I put on pants.
I went like this because I don't have hair.
But on the flip side, I love to doll up for the 3 Fat Readers chat, which reminder that is tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And sometimes, especially in the beginning of my channel, I would always put on makeup before my videos. That lasted.
You still scrolled for
I know, but I missed a bunch of stuff and I want to address it. So just a second.
Fine.
I think we all deserve to be here and to be in and sorry, I can't talk. You can read the comment.
I think we all deserve to be here and allowed to be in and experience the world while speaking our thoughts and truth. That's taking up space. Exactly. Taking up space isn't just a physical thing. It's also an emotional and intellectual exercise as well. And we address the idea of physical space, like on a flight. We can address talking about physical space on a flight and things like that. Those are things that we can see, but even that is limited to certain specific situations. But you have the right to be the loudest person in the room.
It's true. Lady Knight says, one thing I've noticed in friendships, I have a tendency to gravitate towards extroverted people. Mood! And find myself challenged in good ways while calming them down sometimes. Yin yang.
Yeah.
There's a reason that's our symbol.
Yep.
The yin yang is Peggy and my symbol. Because especially when we met, like you could not believe the dichotomy between us. It's changed a lot over the years because my confidence has grown and grown and grown. But especially in the beginning, but I'm still the watery, like touchy feely, and she's still the like fuck 'em. Like that's still the thing. So we're still very much fire and water.
I'm so sorry that I stopped petting you.
It's interesting to me. One thing that I really enjoy is taking Peggy with me to social gatherings, particularly if I'm going to be in a group.
Because I'm a party trick, apparently.
No, it's because when I feel shy, I can kind of pull back a little bit, and she'll keep things going so that we won't be like these rude, impolite, like wallflower people.
Well,
which is not to say that.
And I actually do have social skills. It's like just because you're allowed to be, just because you have the right to be the loudest person in the world doesn't mean you have to be every time you go anywhere.
When I go to a social event by myself without a Peggy, the first thing I do is I look for a dog. Like, please God, let there be a dog. Because I can like focus on the dog, and it gives me like that.
It makes
social...
going grocery shopping weird. Where's the puppy? Where's the puppy?
I don't.
We're in a store. They don't do that
so
here.
Mean.
I'm absolutely mean.
I feel like there's something else I said, or I missed rather. Oh, here we go. Buttercup coffee. Okay. Let's see. I feel like as a society, we've been trained to not make a big deal or complain or stand out too much. Absolutely. Especially, this is a thing that women are socialized to
my
do.
God. Oh, you're a stone cold bitch if you do that.
Like, right? Like, there's so many, like, and it's...
I think what it is...
Pams, you are so not a YouTuber. Best comment ever.
What was that? I'm wearing shorts, and they have, like...
Sometimes I am. Sometimes, and please let's clarify my pants. I mean this kind of stuff. I don't mean like underwear.
I'm wearing shorts, but they're really, really full of holes because they're like practically rags and should be thrown away. Does that count as...
It's clothes, but she sews stuff all the time.
Yeah, I just don't feel like darning them.
Is darning a word people still use?
Yes.
Oh.
I literally have a darning foot for my machine.
That's bizarre. I feel like a deer in headlights when left alone at a gathering.
Yeah.
Totally. Me
and you know
all
what,
the time.
though? You're allowed to feel like that, and you're... The interesting thing about taking up space isn't that you're obligated to act in a way that's different than what feels natural to you, but it's just the knowledge that you have the right to behave in whatever way that you're behaving.
It's true.
Like, obviously, and again, there's this scale. You can't just walk in and start swearing at people and challenging.
I mean, you can, but people won't like you very much.
Right. Like, I mean, you obviously have.
You can do what you want, but
there's obviously a scale that. There's obviously this scale that shifts depending on what you're doing, where you are, and who you're with. Like, you know, if you're sitting around with grandma's knitting circle, you're not going to drop F-bombs. It's just not, you know, and that's fine. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with anything that you're thinking or feeling, anything that, like, and again, like, everything's on a scale. So we just need to know, you know, we already know that up front. But you have the right, if you're sitting in a class, of course you have to be quiet and listen to the teacher, but you still have the right to put up your hand and ask a question. Just because somebody else asked a similar question, if you still don't understand the answer, you have the right to put up your hand and say, look, I want to ask this question again because I still don't understand the answer.
My nose.
You're weird, man. These dogs are just parked and not going anywhere.
You stay there. I'm getting more coffee for me. Did you want a second coffee?
Yes, fill my cracked and decrepit cup.
We don't normally have a second one on Saturday.
Oh my God, I needed a second cup. I gotta put my glasses back on so I can read.
Look, Peggy's hosting the chat now. Best of luck, everybody.
Yeah, Americans, us Americans complain about everything and expect someone to fix everything. You know what? That is becoming a global thing, a global thing. Why won't somebody do blah for me? And it's like, well, why won't you do it for yourself? But
I've only been gone 30 seconds.
You're fine. Just stay over there and bring back coffee.
Whoa.
But what's really interesting is, okay, so you have to apply a bit of a scale. There's certain behaviors that are only appropriate in there's certain places you go where certain behaviors are just not going to be okay. That's normal. That's fine. That's to be expected. I just need that second cup to deal with you, Barb. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking, even in those spaces, there's nothing wrong with carving a little corner of space for yourself in that area. Like, there's nothing wrong with sitting closer to, you know, oh, only the kids with only the really smart kids sit at the front of the room. It's like, dude, I need to see the chalkboard. I'm sitting at the front of the room. Only these kind of people,
That's
it's not
a good point.
It's not polite to ask too many questions. Well, it's also not in your best interest to not ask any questions and have no idea what's going on. Yes, it is a compliment, Barb. Barb is our resident troublemaker, especially when Elle's not here because, oh my God, the two of them, Elle had to leave earlier.
She had to go drink.
She had to go drink?
Yeah.
Okay, she had to go drink. But taking up space is not just a physical thing of saying, I'm allowed to, but okay, like if you're like Dustin probably, as an act of politeness, sits a couple of rows back so that people don't have to try and look over him for something if he's at an event or a thing.
Now that's, like, fuck him.
Yeah.
Where I want to sit.
Well, yeah, fuck him, sit where you want to sit. Like, I mean, don't sit behind the tall guy and you don't have a problem either. But so there's certain things that we do socially in order to get along, but we shouldn't have to do it every single time.
It's this side. There you go.
We shouldn't have to do it every single time, especially if it's something that somehow ends up working against us. It's like, I'm a shorter person. I shouldn't have to always sit in the front. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have, nobody should have to behave in a certain way unless it suits them because they want to. And yet at the same time, we do have social values and social rules that we have to live by. So it gets complicated. We have one set of rules at home, one set of rules at school, one set of rules at work.
Screw the rules.
Well, you can't screw the rules.
Oh,
this is the thing. This is the young, but we also have the right to sit tall in our seat. We have the right to ask questions. We have the right to voice. If our opinion doesn't agree with the opinion of the person beside us, we have the right to voice that opinion. It's on, it's on the other person to be an adult and have a conversation with you, or be an adult and just not have a conversation. We don't need to have this everybody's screaming at each other attitude, which is another byproduct. It's byproduct of two different people trying to occupy the same space, right? Rock and a hard place. But it gets convoluted. I'm looking off on the side to see how she's doing.
I'm making coffee. I'm okay. I'm alive.
Yeah, Time Nexus would like coffee now.
Oh, if I could teleport coffee through the screen, I totally would. Brenda, why are you hiding over there? I don't have any.
It's a goblin freaks the kitties out every time in the dark room and a jack-o'-lantern. That's funny. But no, I mean, I don't know. It's a really simple concept, and because by the time you're an adult, it's like, don't interrupt the adults. They're talking. Don't interrupt the teacher. Don't be too loud in this situation. Don't be too quiet in this situation. We've got all these social rules coming at us, and sometimes those social rules. And so now, we're trying to fight our own tendency to shrink, our own programming to shrink. Nobody's really saying, "Hey, we're outside now. It's okay to scream and shout." Parents will never tell their kids, "It's okay to scream as loud as you want, kids." It's like, because that's what we do. We don't think to educate ourselves or our kids about. Yeah, the thing is, acknowledging that you are allowed to take up space is accepting that it is so everyone else, that it is also for everyone else, and that can make things complicated. Complicated is fine. There's nothing wrong with complicated, but you also don't have to. You don't have to take it on as some banner where you're all in. Like I said, yeah, my teens are introverts, so when we go out together, I try to act by example for them, such as start a conversation with the waiter and pull the kids into the conversation. I think it has helped them.
I brought breakfast.
Yeah.
Don't mind us.
Oh, I'll share a cookie.
I missed, but I was listening to Peggy's side. Don't just give her a chunk of cookie.
I got cookie crumbs all over.
Kayla,
did you want that? It's got real butter.
She doesn't want it. She's not hungry. She's like, just leave me alone. I'm still sleepy.
Oops, I'm sorry. I'm spilling
Also,
cookies.
hi.
My dog is covered in cookies.
I have coffee now again. I have coffee and I have cookies.
Well, she licked it, but she doesn't
Apparently,
want it.
this is my YouTube snack of choice lately because I feel like my head's getting cut off. It's because I was eating this on my Witch's Bounty unboxing.
Anyway. I'm still waking up, so I'm a little bit rambly and not quite getting.
This is what Peggy's like before coffee.
Yeah, this is what I'm like before
day.
coffee. But oh my God, do I solve?
She does.
Yeah, sometimes you can. Okay, so Heather says sometimes you can sit back and be quiet or allow others to take space just because you want to. Just because you can take up space doesn't mean you always have to. And that's kind of that's yeah. Thank you for being so good at interpreting Peggy 101 on no caffeine.
Crumbs.
I have crumbs everywhere. But the thing is that you don't have to be in this position where you always want to or need to feel like you're taking up space. That's normal too. But when you're in the mood to take up space, and sometimes you're like, oh, I'm in the, like I think
it's kind of about taking up space is about not shrinking yourself only for the purpose of making other people stand out.
Well, no, don't shrink yourself. Just, I mean, nobody competes with the bride, right?
Yeah, you can shrink yourself on somebody else. What do you think?
Well, but you know what though?
But I guess there's social situations where it makes sense, which I get.
Yes, there's always going to be situations where you need to like be a little bit more reserved than you would normally be. But you also, so you don't have to go in. You don't have to go in being loud. You can be the loudest person in the room, but you don't have to be. This is not something you don't have to force yourself to behave in ways that make you uncomfortable just to feel like you're, I don't want to be always shrinking, so I'm going to force myself to behave this way to offset that. Now,
I think it's because taking up space isn't about creating a new set of obligations and rules for yourself. It's just about allowing yourself to inhabit, to feel like you're worthy to take up whatever space that you inhabit. And sometimes that means that you're not being super loud. Sometimes taking up space means you're just softening your shoulders and like being physically present in a space. Sometimes it's sometimes it's the way you sell yourself when you're asking for that job interview or job promotion or whatever.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of different ways that it shows up. The trick is recognizing, am I being courteous right now or am I shrinking myself? And if the answer is I'm shrinking myself,
that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah, then dial it back a little, dial it forward a little bit, crank it up just a bit. And this is an active practice. This isn't something where you just like figure it out and suddenly you're always taking up space all the time. I still regularly shrink myself. I do it at the movie theater and I have to like remind Peggy hit a button.
I hit a button. I don't know what I did.
It's because you're using the laptop as a table for your cookies, which is a bad idea all the way around. Now I have crumbs on my now I have crumbs on my keyboard. Don't wipe it. That's gonna
but let's make it more complicated. Let's complicate the issue.
Let's complicate the issue, she says while chewing. You can do it. Do you want to sip your coffee? Just to wash the cookie crumbs out of your mouth?
Sure, ice cold boil. I mean, not a nice
ice cold.
No, boiling coffee. I need to let it cool down.
Really? Wimp. I'm drinking mine.
Just to prove a point, gonna sip it around those blisters in your mouth when drinking hot coffee.
I added milk.
Okay.
It's not that hot.
So yeah, taking up space requires vulnerability. For me, taking up space feels vulnerable because I might say or do something embarrassing and I'll be thinking about it for the next 50 years. Oh my God, you've described my life. We all do that.
Absolutely.
We all do that.
And sometimes it doesn't feel safe to take up more space for whatever reason.
No. And then here's the thing. Here's the other side of that scale. Now I'm really bad at tracking who said what. Somebody just said a couple minutes ago that they try to engage, that when they're out with their kids are introverts. So they go out of their way to be more engaging when they're in social situations with their kids to help them get over it a little bit. So sometimes it's in you. Sometimes you're going to also take up space that you might not normally be inclined to take up on your own because you feel that there's a benefit to somebody else if you do. Yeah, that's true. We all have. I'm sorry that we don't have. I can't put the cookies through the computer. I'm sorry, I can't do it. So they're good though. Nothing is as simple as turn this on, turn this off, which is kind of something I point out. It's that magical scale I talk about almost every time we talk about any topic. The magical scale. So sometimes you can say, "Oh, I really feel a little. I really feel like I need to shrink and not take up the space for whatever reason." Hi, Emma. But the thing is that just to acknowledge. We're sorry, we want to give everybody. I love this. I'm a watcher and peek up when I get something to say. I have made myself speak up instead of being the head bobber, nodding when the others talk. Yeah, if you find yourself doing that, like, yeah, that's a really great. His Peggy's nodding. Yep. Nod, that's a really great way to check in with yourself, right? Absolutely. Yeah. I think for me. Oh, so, sorry. Barefoot Taurus brought up a really good point, and Heather was kind of.
I just want to put this up here really quick. I kind of started to read it, I think. Taking up space requires vulnerability. For me, taking up space feels vulnerable because I might say or do something embarrassing, and I'll be thinking about it for the next 50 years.
I just read that one like a couple minutes ago.
I'm not paying attention to you right now.
Apparently.
I'm taking up space. I have something to say about it too. No,
I mean, okay, the thing is that, and again, this is the magical scale. This is the magical scale. If you have stuff, if you have the kind of issues that would make you really, really, really not be able to forgive yourself if certain things happen, then taking up space for you is going to be a very different,
experience.
It's going to be a very different experience. It's not that you shouldn't take up space. You should fill up your seat and sit tall. You should be able to ask a question if you have a question.
Remind me to tell you about the fight for car keys later.
The fight for car keys?
Yeah. Sorry, just don't let me forget.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had a really weird dream. Anyways, okay.
Oh, you had a dream?
Yeah, I was like, I just realized it was like in my head, and I was like, what's going on? But yes, while there's a scale,
creating selective memory. Barefoot Taurus says, I can't wait for someone to create selective memory so I can delete so many things.
I also feel like, though, on that same point, yes, there's a scale, and yes, be aware of where your comfort level is, but also, be aware of your tendency. I'm hiccup burping right now.
You're herping.
Excuse me. Be aware of your tendency to be self-critical.
Yeah.
And try to do some work around that too, so that,
well, you don't just fix one problem and have everything else slot into. Well, sometimes you fix a problem and a bunch of other things just slot neatly into place.
Your coffee's probably. You can probably drink it now.
I'll shut up so you can talk.
Thank you. And this is how you shut up your extrovert.
My world. That's why I'm strung out on coffee and cookies all the time.
But my boy, here, stick something in your mouth so it'll stop laughing. Actually, real life in the Papez household. Okay. Anyways,
I'll just pet my puppy over here.
So, what was I saying?
I don't know.
That's it. Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. See. Now people are starting to second guess that bruise.
I see. Do we need to send help? Deleting a memory.
I had a black eye the other day. Oh my god! Just a couple. You ever do the thing? Everybody's done it, especially if you wear glasses. You're like,
didn't work, you guys.
You're like rub. Well, I gave myself a little tiny black eye under here, a little tiny one that lasted for a couple days from doing this. And I told her she didn't mind her manners. I was gonna tell everybody that she hit me in the face.
Chloe says, I've let go of the need to be liked. Now I'm older. I'm okay if they don't like me. I'm caring less about external shit. This is helping me be more confident.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I could give a shit less what people think of me these days. It's like
it's such an empowering place to get to, but I will say, the vulnerability, I do want to say something about that. And I'm having a hard time holding my thoughts this morning because, waking up. But I do think the vulnerability piece is hard, but at the same time, I think it's worth it to explore and play with a little bit, because I've felt so I've been crippled by embarrassment when I feel like I've misstepped.
Oh yeah.
But the more I've sat with the discomfort of feeling like, oh man, okay, like the paddleboard yoga. Oh my god, I fell off. That was so embarrassing. Nobody else fell off. Like everybody else was wearing like regular clothes, not even designed to get wet. Like I went there with like clothes at least I knew would dry quickly. You know what I mean? But so that was embarrassing, and I could have like really picked on myself for a long time about that, but instead I
picked on her instead. It was great.
No, you didn't. I've reframed the conversation so that I remembered what a cool thing it was that I tried it, and I keep going to that example lately for different things. But I mean, to me, it was a very a sign of my personal growth that I was able to put myself out there. And what's a callback? Is that like a clapback? Is that like when you like?
I'm not sure.
I'm not good with this newfangled slang, y'all.
I'm not good with words.
I'm just gonna drink my.
I'm not good with thinking this early in the morning.
It's like 10:48. It's not early.
I know it's almost 11. It feels
because we slept in.
Like, oh my god! Yeah.
I get up and I get the dogs ready. Ideally, I get
up. Normally,
like,
there's a dog standing on my chest going, "Hi, feed me." I need to poop. Feed me.
Oh, thank you. Now I understand. Recalling the sitting with discomfort thing. Thank you.
Okay.
I do have a memory, and it's funny because I actually make a lot of self-deprecating comments about my memory because it's very poor.
You have a crap memory.
And so I call myself a goldfish. I swim from one end of the tank to the other, and then I forget, and then I have to swim back, and then I forget. But it's
you are kind of like a goldfish.
Thanks, babe. Anyway, wow. Drink your coffee. Look, you're gonna spill it on yourself. You're laughing so hard.
That's okay.
Yes, reframing is a skill I'm working on. That's good advice. Oh, that's okay, Darcy. It's an interesting one today because we're underslept. Well, we're not underslept.
Oh my God.
We're overslept. We're overslept.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who's just coming in, we slept in this morning because
Have
not
extra
only did the
pancakes for us, Kay.
slept through 2
I love
alarms,
pancakes.
and the dogs decided that they didn't want to get up. So yeah.
Oh no! Yeah, I'm so grossed in this live. I forgot to turn my cooker on, so my food is taking ages to cook. Can we talk about how often I have gone to make rice and I've hit the keep warm button instead of the turn on button?
We're like,
And then like hours later, we're like, where's the rice?
We have rice soaking in warm water. What happened?
I need another.
It's like, Lisa, you're not allowed in the kitchen anymore.
True.
I think you just do it on purpose so that we will say, Lisa, you're not allowed in the kitchen anymore.
My evil plan is working. Did you want another cookie? You were looking kind of longingly at the box. I was like, I guess I should offer you one.
Cookies. I need cookies.
You're not the only one thinking like that. Here's Bruno, the diabetic, who's like, hi, I'd like a cookie, please. And you're like, no, you can't have it.
Dude, you're a diabetic.
It is.
Look at him. He's like, I'm a dog. I don't care.
You're in Nova Scotia, Buttercup? That's cool. It is just shy of 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not early.
Coast.
The problem is that I say we, but Peggy was sound asleep. I woke up at 9:35. My premiere was already 5 minutes in. And I was like, oh, hi. I should say hello to people.
Shayla, don't do that.
Yeah, Shayla. Now we're both chewing.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
We needed breakfast. Yeah.
I just keep reminding myself that all of these self-worth practices are practices for a reason. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
That is the main thing. Honestly, I will tell you right now, the minute you decide to commit to self-worth, self-improvement, anything, it never
You're
stops.
busy for the rest of your life, yo.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. It doesn't stop.
You've taken on a lifestyle hobby.
This is why I love shadow work so much, because it's a great way for me to consciously check in. What am I neglecting about my path, about my practice? What needs more attention? How am I deceiving myself? Like, where do I think I'm doing well, but really I need to like check in? It's a really good thing to do. And this is the time of year I do it. What? You're about to say something. Okay. I was like, is that the face where she's about to call me out on something?
No, I'm just grateful that you guys don't mind that we're sitting here eating cookies because we haven't eaten yet today.
Cookies are so good with coffee. It's true.
We slept in.
Can I dip shortbread? Is that a thing people do?
Yeah, you can dip shortbread, but sometimes they'll just crumble and disintegrate.
I'm gonna try it.
She's gonna try it. This is gonna be fun. And she's gonna have crumbs in her coffee, and she's gonna whine.
They'll be at the bottom though, because shortbread crumbs are heavy.
It's
okay. That was good.
Yeah, it's a journey, not a destination. Honestly, there's no destination. It's just like
Heather. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I got excited. That's a great prompt for a daily draw. Where am I dropping the ball? If you want to do like a daily mini shadow work, you could actually do 2 cards. You could do like, where am I doing well right now in my path and my practice to self-worth, and where am I dropping the ball? Those 2 side by side could give you a really clear picture of where you're at.
I always I don't think of it as dropping the ball because there's not really any success or failure.
But dropping the ball isn't about success or failure. It's about what am I neglecting? That could be another way to word it. What am I neglecting right now?
I wouldn't even use the sorry. I would still.
Peggy's being a marshmallow. I'm hard ass with my shadow work. Go ahead.
No, I would just be saying, what should I be focusing on today?
That's too boring.
It's the exact same thing.
That's what I use every day. To me, it's totally different. Where am I dropping the ball is me intentionally looking at where do I need to pick up the slack? Where do I need to
see?
Or what am I ignoring? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what am I ignoring? What should I pay attention to? Because I think when you word it, where am I dropping the ball? It kind of starts you on a negative foot. What did I do wrong?
Shortbread is for dipping in coffee. Yeah, it's delicious. I'm really happy I started doing it.
Some brands will just turn into mush.
What is Biscoff? What is Biscoff?
I don't know.
Is it a type of cookie? Tell us, Willow Creek. We're curious.
But anyway, I think like where am I dropping the ball is an accurate thing, but I like to change it to something. I like to give it a bit more of a positive flavor.
But see, when I'm doing shadow work, I don't want to give it a positive flavor. I want to look. I don't want to beat my. But it's not about beating myself up. It's about
sometimes that's what it turns into.
Well, if it's practice self-care. I think it's important to question yourself with tarot if you have a daily tarot practice. I think that's something.
It's really important to go, this is some shit that I need to take care of. So I think of it this way: what shit do I need? What's the shit that I need to take care of?
You know why? Because actually, I know why it is. When Peggy reads the tarot, the reason I think you like your questions to have more of a positive spin is because the way you actually read the cards, Peggy's really good at pulling the message out of the card itself to call herself out if she needs to. So you see more of the shadow easier in the card itself.
Yeah.
A lot of us struggle to see especially if we're reading for ourselves, we struggle to see the lesson. If I do a generic pull, like what do I need to be focusing on today? I feel like the card gives me a pep talk.
Yeah.
So I have to change the question or the prompt in order to pull that lesson back. Yeah. So some people might be able to just ask a fairly neutral or even positively worded question and get back you need to work on this kind of answer. But I don't get that kind of an answer unless I change the question. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I find from reading reversals.
And I don't read with reversals, so that's a good reason why I focus on changing the wording of the question to get the right kind of answer back that I need.
I just find that with you, some of the questions that you ask and some of the ways that you ask the question ends up to me sounding like you're saying, how can I beat myself up today?
Which it's not, but it's important to have discernment when you're using those kinds of questions to make sure you're not using it as a way to amp up your inner critic, and are instead using it as a way to, I think calling yourself out with the tarot is a really useful practice.
No, it is. It is.
But you have to do it lovingly in order to get the benefits without slipping into that beating yourself up track.
Because I never feel like what did I do wrong? It's like
it's biscotti.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we like biscotti.
I haven't had biscotti in so long, but the shortbread was delicious dipped in the coffee. I'm not gonna lie, it was so yummy.
Taking up space it's important, and the thing is that for you, taking up space might be taking up this much space, and that's all you want. It's all you need, and you feel really, really good about that. You don't have to take up taking up space has to be what feels good for you.
There's none.
Like for me, I take up this much space, and I don't care, but. And everybody can have.
It can be a slippery slope, Bruno. It's. You've been doing a series on your channel about shadow work, haven't you? How has that been going? I haven't had a chance to watch many of the videos. Good night, Chloe. But yeah, it can be a slippery slope because when you're doing shadow work, it's very easy to get into a self angry place or into a self-deprecating place or into a beating yourself up place. It's why when you're doing shadow work, I think it's so important to wrap yourself up with self-care practices and stuff like that. I just thought of something though. It's a really, really good, here's a really, really good tarot practice you can do. How can I take up more space energetically? Card 1. How can I take up more space physically? Card number 2. So that could be a cool way to work with the tarot.
And don't forget, it's always in the context. This is something
added extra group sessions to help. Oh, that's good. See, that's exactly like how you can boost your supports and stuff. And don't forget, you can take a break. Like even if you told yourself, I'm going to do this much in 30 days or whatever, let it take 6 weeks if it needs to, or 8 weeks or whatever.
I don't know if you guys are hearing this. She's found a blanket across the room.
And she would like you to go cuddle her now.
She'd like me to go over there and pet her. And she's getting jealous. Here she comes because Bruno's over here.
She was just looking at Peggy, making eye contact and whining. Always being positive is healthy for me. I see what both of you are saying and agree with both of you. Hello, Libra, personally. I don't think always being positive is healthy for me. I need to address the negative too. Yeah, that's me because I'm a very look for the light in everything kind of person by nature. So for me to do shadow work, I have to very consciously pull cards to answer questions designed to look at shadow, or I just won't. And it's not because I'm trying to be avoidant. It's because my personality always goes to what is the positive about this person, the situation. And sometimes I do that regularly. I do that to my own detriment, and I avoid things that are uncomfortable. This is why things like sitting with discomfort is such an active practice, why shadow work is an active practice, because if I'm not doing it on purpose, I'm probably just not doing it.
That's an easy thing to fall into, though.
Not for you.
Not for me. Well,
Peggy's much more.
I bring my own personality to the table.
I will say, if anything, though, you find an easier time looking at shadow than at light sometimes. That's one of the reasons we balance each other out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're negative, but it's just easier for you to see.
Well, because I can look at it and not feel personally. I can look at it. I can look at it and not take it personally. It's like, oh, I got to work on this shit. Okay, I got to work on some shit.
Yeah.
I don't. Because we all react different. That's something else that we all react.
You can't stop petting her. She's gonna kick you.
I know. She's gonna kick
the dog, Shayla, likes to. She's like a cat. She doesn't want to be touched and petted unless she wants to be touched and petted. But when she wants to be touched and petted, you better drop everything and make it work.
Yeah,
work.
They're both very. basically the unfortunate problem is that this is how we end up sleeping in, because if they decide that if they both
they'll cuddle us back to sleep.
they will get in there and they'll cuddle. Hi, let's cuddle.
Shayla will curl up in the small of my back. Like if I'm lying on my side, she'll curl up in the small of my back, right where it's like really warm and cozy. And then who wants to move? For starters, you can't roll over. You'll crush the dog. And secondly, so it's kind of a trap, right? Yeah. And secondly, it's so warm and cozy.
Yeah, they'll both come over and just start snuggling and they'll start being very
The only
quiet.
reason he's snuggling is because I still have a cookie in this package. Look at this face. Look at it. He's like, hi, I see that you have a cookie.
Don't fall, you're gonna scratch me. There you go. Good boy.
He's just like, bye.
Because she hurt his feelings.
He's like, I see how it is. Oh no, he got on the floor so he could beg more politely. That's
okay, Earthly Shy has to go.
Bye. Earthly Shy.
Yeah, silver lining. I'm definitely a silver lining person. I naturally see. She puts a thing over. I actually see the good in people and circumstances.
I make you have to move your eyeballs.
I think that's something else too. Is like sometimes we will hold ourselves back so that somebody else can shine, which is fine.
I've shared the last cookie with you.
Oh,
don't put it on the keyboard.
Put it on my little table.
Oh my god. Why? The kitties go flying when I wake up.
I think it's supposed to say kitties go flying when I wake up. They are not my priority.
I don't know if it means kitties.
Kitties or kippies.
I want to know what she means.
If she types like me, it's me. If she types like me, it means.
But I don't know. What do you mean the children go flying? I don't understand. I have to dip more. What is this? Shortbread. I was like, what's the word? I almost said biscotti. I'm like, this isn't biscotti.
It's not biscotti.
We were talking about biscotti.
You're fine. It's fine. Oh my god, I'm just surprised that we've actually even been able to remember what the topic is. Hey,
you did real good because you didn't catch any of the premiere.
Well, we've talked about taking up space. I mean, a lot of these topics.
Oh, kitty puppy mash. Oh my god.
Kippies. Okay,
I get it now.
We've talked about we talk about these kind of topics regularly.
We do.
Just because it's what we do, we overtalk everything.
I'm a self-worth junkie, so I'm constantly talking about it.
Hey, I read a thing. Okay, let's talk about the thing. Hey, how does that relate to how you feel about the thing? I think, like, you can, like, if you talk to somebody like me, I'm like, be loud, take up space. Who gives a shit? And then it's like you talk to somebody at least, and it goes, oh no, it's okay to be quiet. It's okay. And the thing is, they're both true.
Yeah.
If you feel comfortable and empowered and relaxed, take up the fucking space. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to force yourself to take up space. You don't.
Sometimes me taking up space is me taking her to a party and letting her do most of the talking
while she just sits back and goes, I'm having fun.
Just enjoy and people watch and be present and enjoy the experience rather than getting anxious. So I mean, there's different ways. Taking up space doesn't always look like being big or loud or roomy. Sometimes it's about what you're feeling inside. And
it's not something you have to force yourself. It's not something you have to force yourself to do. Taking up space is not a fake it till you make it situation, because you'll just never feel good about it. Taking up space is, oh, well, this is a pretty cool place to be. I'm going to take up a little more space and see how that feels.
Yeah.
So so basically taking up space is often, sometimes you're thrown in a situation and you don't have a choice, but taking up space in the way that we're describing is most often a baby steps process.
Totally agree.
Because I've seen people who are like, I'm just not going to be introverted, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then suddenly they're just blah, and it's like, oh my god, that was the most miserable experience of my life, and they don't ever want to do it again because they've traumatized themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, on the other hand, if your job comes with an obligation that you do a thing, like, okay, like public speaking, you don't want to take up space, you're on the front. If your job comes with an element of public speaking and you're not necessarily comfortable, then that's your trial by fire. I've got coffee and all kinds of.
No, you just have a hair.
Oh, that's Bruno.
It's a Bruno hair, yeah.
So your environment and your situation might determine how much space you get to or have to take up. And that is a separate thing from doing it in a comfortable, natural progression of growth into it, of growing into it. Mm-hmm. I'm just sitting here petting my dog.
Oh no! Lightning just took out my power. Oh god!
Oh
make
wow!
Sure shut down.
Yeah.
So you don't have any power surges. Hopefully you're on your phone.
Yeah,
or
I hope
something.
you're okay. I hope everything's okay.
And maybe don't use your power right now.
Don't use your power
from your phone. If you're on your phone, don't use your power up because you can't charge.
Oh yeah.
It's like a safety thing. Be safe.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Be safe. Mwah. Sending you lots of love. Yeah. You'll be okay. Check in later.
Yeah, please check in later. Let us know everything went okay.
Daytime? Question mark where you are?
Well, at least everything now has built-in surge protectors. Like, I mean, lightning taking out your light. You know, like.
Yes, Willow Creek also says this. Sorry, just sometimes you've got to read the room, and depending on what you feel.
Yes.
Yeah, especially if you're like an empath or something like that.
Well, and that might be the first thing that you need to practice, because if you're so accustomed to not taking up space, then you might lose, and it's a very strong chance that you're going to lose some of your discernment to recognize when, where, and how it's safe and okay and acceptable to take up more space.
Yeah. And here's one interesting point. The practice of taking up space is more about checking in with your...
Oh, no, that's...
No
coffee.
That's a disaster.
Man, that is a disaster. Oh, my God.
Okay, so here's what I was going to say. The practice of taking up space is more about how you speak to yourself and check in with yourself. If you're in a situation, you're like, the first thing is, am I shrinking myself? If the answer is yes, check in. Is this a space where why? Is this a space where I want to make that change? This week's challenge, you guys, is to just focus on noticing where you may be shrinking yourself or where you may not be stepping into your personal power, your space, taking up space physically and energetically. But that doesn't mean paying attention to it doesn't mean you have to immediately change it. But when you make a conscious choice about, yes, I'm going to take up more space in this moment, or no, I'm not, you're still empowering yourself. You're still acting from a place of confidence and self-worth. Where it changes is when you're like, I can't take up space, I'm not allowed, or I'm not worthy. That's different than saying, I could definitely take up more space here, but I don't really feel like I want to, so I'm not going to right now. Mm-hmm. That's an empowered choice based in self-worth. You're looking at yourself.
And as long as taking a couple of minutes to think about it, you'll know what your incentive is.
And let's remember that one way you can take up space is to just stop for a second and take a few deep breaths.
Jump in a puddle. Go find a puddle. Jump in it.
That's something else. But you can also just take a couple. But you can also, which is still a valid point, just start to breathe a little bit more deeply. Like, just start to breathe in a more relaxed way. And already you've energetically taken up more space. And I talked in the video. You missed this part entirely. I think you were.
I was walking the dogs.
But yeah, we both just said that. That was funny. But you can energetically, especially if you're into more of the magic-y woo side of things, you can literally
magic-y woo.
Yeah, you can literally take up more space by picturing, and I've talked about this in the video, picture your energetic body. If like you can just imagine, you can picture your energetic self, make your energetic self bigger. You don't have to change anything about your behavior, but just imagine your energetic self has expanded much beyond your current physical space, and let that be a thing, because your behavior and the way that you speak, even when you are being quiet and then choose to speak or whatever, everything will shift. When you picture your energetic body larger, when you allow your energetic body to expand, your behavior kind of follows suit in this very natural way. If that's a practice or a type of visualization that resonates with you, which is always the caveat. It's worked for me in a lot of situations. Sometimes I'm in a very cramped space, so I can't physically take up more space. I will close my eyes for just a split second and imagine my energetic body expanding, and it helps. Sometimes if you're in a crowded space, I visualize my energetic body going up, sometimes down, sometimes I ground, sometimes I do both. Peggy's just looking at me like, you fucking weird, man.
I just energetically, like, I need this space, so everybody else needs to back up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind doing that.
Yeah, which is the same thing. It's just different words for the same thing. You got another Bruno hair. I'm not.
Yeah, I gotta. No,
I'm not grabbing your boobs, I swear.
You're not?
On camera. I'll grab them later.
Wait, this way.
Yeah. No, not on camera. Oh
my God,
boy.
you're such a perv.
You started it.
You're picking at my boob.
I was blowing a hair off.
That's what she calls it. That's her code word.
No.
Look at her wishing she could take up less space right now.
I think we're talking.
I think we're
quiet. I think we got ridiculous.
I think yeah. It's probably time for us to get going though, because all the stuff that we normally do before is now stuff we have to do before we can get on with our day. But
I still have to do my tarot card job.
Taking up space is really, really easy in some areas. It's really, really hard. Yeah, those poor fish, those things they have seen. Oh yeah, like they just face the back of the tank now.
I just got like this slew of comments all at once. It's like it didn't.
Oh wow. Oh, just a few.
Oh, just a few, but
still.
Willow Creek says, I sometimes just pat myself on the back for even being there in that space.
Yeah.
I may not be outgoing while I'm there, but the fact that I even went there is yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Give yourself
absolutely.
Give yourself credit for your successes, and then you won't feel like there's this
Oh my
big
God, the fish.
block in the way. Yeah, those poor fish. Absolute trauma.
So
Absolute
traumatized.
trauma.
Oh my God. Also, don't forget, since we're going to be wrapping up, don't forget tomorrow morning, I will make sure all of my alarms are set this time.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, we are having 3 Fat Readers at 9 a.m., not 9:30, 9 a.m., 9 a.m. my time, which is Pacific
You have
time.
to get up in the morning again? Oh, this is going to be good.
But
Dustin, you better be getting a hold of her like by 8. Make sure she's got her lazy butt out of bed.
My ringer is often off before I wake up.
You need to turn your ringer on. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'll set all my alarms, but oh, I thought I did a thing. Okay, anyway, so 3 Fat Readers is tomorrow. The link to it is always in the description box below, so you can click it and you can go subscribe and turn on the bell so you get the notifications, because we do it about once a month. And tomorrow we're talking about Halloween and fall.
Oh, and my Halloween sale is still ongoing.
Yes.
Still got like another week and a half left till the end of the month.
And all of my tarot readings are up at supportivetarot.com now. So if you want to book a reading, you can do it through my website. I have done a couple.
And watch recently. 3 Fat Readers tomorrow.
Yeah.
And our puppies are cute. And,
and Peggy is cute.
I'm cute. I'm always cute.
It's so adorable. Don't ever do that again. Whatever that was, don't ever do it again. Oh my God. Also, yeah, that's what I got. That's our wrap up.
Yep. And well, you already gave the prompt for on the other video.
The journal prompts and the challenge are in the description box of our premiered video on the topic, so you can go there to check out the journal prompts and the challenge.
Sit tall.
Take up more space this week, or at least notice when you're not, and see if you can like notice a pattern. That can be useful too. So, or
just or if you're not, try to pay attention to why you're not.
Mm-hmm. Because it's 11:11.
Because there's times when it's not appropriate to try and take up the space, but there's other times where it's like, yeah, this should not. It's all relative. I mean, a space where I feel it's appropriate to take up space, you might feel it's inappropriate, and then vice versa.
Just be mindful. Yeah, if you're being mindful and present.
Being mindful, being present.
I did the thing again. Oh my God, I missed all the comments again.
Oh my God, this is not save the fish.
Oh my God. I like we missed a whole slew of comments. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, for some reason it's not scrolling down properly. So if anybody that we're missing, it's not intentional.
I thought Dustin said I should probably pick up my 2 decks for tomorrow. I'm like, 2?
Yeah,
I thought
Lisa,
we got
send
4.
me your phone number.
Oh, who said send me your phone number? Oh, Dustin, I will too.
Oh yeah. Oh
I will.
yeah.
I'll glide it to
you.
you
We're missing. Yeah, we missed a whole. Sorry, guys. It's
Oh, June says, Peggy, I'll be opening your package today. I've been waiting until I can do it on a video. So don't forget to let us know when it's up, and we'll take a look.
Something I've been doing lately because of
hey, Fables Den is here. Hi, Kim.
Fables Den. Something
right at the end.
Yeah, we're just finishing up, but that's okay. If once you have that,
enjoy your meal.
Hi, I'd love to talk.
I'm sorry.
You are not. You are not.
I am. I'm sorry.
And if you're doing your unboxing on a video, just send me the link and I'll put it up on my Facebook page. I don't do much. I have a Facebook page for the shop. I don't do much with it, but the least I can do is share everybody's videos and help get you guys some notice.
Also, make sure you check out June's tarot journey. She's been doing some fun unboxings and openings and changing up her space lately. It's been
that's okay, cool. Fables Den. This week was a bit of a shit show because the alarm. I don't know what happened with the alarms, but nobody.
We didn't wake up.
The alarms didn't wake us up. The dogs didn't wake us up. We came storming in at the last minute.
It's because YouTube is crap at notifying people, for starters. So
yeah,
it is really crap.
Every single time I've done that, it's like I'm like, okay, it'll give me a notification, and then I look over and it's
halfway in or whatever.
Like,
I know.
What the hell?
Why? All right, we will see you. So tomorrow morning, 3 Fat Readers channel.
3 Fat Readers tomorrow morning.
We'll have our chat about decks. Peggy and I will probably see you again this weekend.
I'm not officially taking custom orders on the shop page. Just to keep me from being overwhelmed.
For people you actually kind of know.
If you reach out to me, of course I'll set you up. It's fine. I just left the message up until the end of the month.
Mind you, the first couple weeks of the sale, you couldn't have done custom.
I couldn't have done it if I wanted to.
Okay, so
anyway,
I am gonna. Somebody comments under my video once, and 6 months later,
exactly.
It's
like
all right, we better actually.
Okay,
we're doing the long goodbye again, so we're gonna wrap it.
On Facebook, just contact Lisa on her Facebook page.
Use me,
or send her a message from here. She usually takes care of all of the communicating.
Facebook's easy,
because she's better at
email.
She's better at. I forget to check my email all the time.
I am
forget
the
to check my
communications
Yeah, she's the communications
person.
expert. But you will get set up with exactly what you need. No problems there.
All right, you guys, have a fantastic rest of your day or evening wherever you are. Thank you for hanging out with us and putting up with our tired asses.
Oh my God, yeah, but my second cup of coffee is like, I'm starting to wake up now. It's great. Now I have to go do chores.
Oh, okay.
You can help.
I'm gonna get real busy doing things. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.